India has extended its AI Impact Summit by a day after record crowds turned up to see the latest breakthroughs in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today called for AI to be democratized, echoing the remarks of UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres. Separately, the UN chief pushed for a new expert panel to improve human control of artificial intelligence in response to a safety report that warns of its growing misuse. But not all parties agree that regulation is the right move. The White House saying it totally rejects global governance of the technology, adding that AI adoption cannot be subject to bureaucracies. Those remarks coming ahead of a leaders' declaration, which is expected to set a roadmap for global AI governance, as more countries try to take the lead on rules, safety, and trust. And for more on this, we have Ishan Garg covering the event for CNA live from New Delhi. Now, Ishan, a White House official today came out to say no to centralizing AI control and that Washington totally rejects this. Is this a common sentiment among the other participants at the summit? What are you hearing on the ground?
Well, there seem to be three different opinions which are diverging from one another in some ways about how to govern AI really. We've heard from the White House official who says that America is completely against any sort of global governance. He says that bureaucracy is not the way that you get to innovating artificial intelligence, and America is not in favor of any kind of centralization of artificial intelligence government. That's one theme that has been highlighted by the US. On the other hand, you have the United Nations, which is saying that, well, there needs to be strong safeguards, strong guardrails around how artificial intelligence is developed and is used, with the UN Secretary-General saying that this needs to be looked at very, very carefully. There is a middle path, however, which countries like India, France, and other European countries are also batting for, where they say that governance models of artificial intelligence, they need to be built together and they need to be shared among one another. This is where US and India are also differing in their views. While India is calling for democratization of AI, it is also calling for safe usage of AI. And for that to happen, it is saying that governance models have to be developed between like-minded countries, while the US at this point is saying that it does not want any centralization of how AI should be developed and used.
Now, given these differing visions, who is then driving the talks towards a concrete outcome or a timeline? And what exactly are they pushing for?
Well, as the chair of the summit, the responsibility to drive a consensus falls on New Delhi. And there are some key themes around which we expect the leaders' declaration to be built around. New Delhi has been pushing for democratization of AI, which essentially means that the source codes of artificial models, intelligence models, should be available to everybody so that they can be improved upon and made safer. It will also fall upon New Delhi to convince partners that the benefits of AI need to trickle down to the grassroots level as well. And one key component of India's ask, or India's agenda rather, has been the idea that countries need to build on their sovereign intelligence capacity. This is an idea that France has also backed, and we also heard from the Canadian Minister for Artificial Intelligence, who's also supporting this idea.
The most important issue is AI sovereignty. And that means that every country, whether it's India or any country, Canada, needs to have options. So as our Prime Minister said, you don't have to choose between a hyperscaler and a hegemon. You can have sovereign AI that gives people choices, and those choices have to protect privacy, data, culture, sovereignty.
Now, to ensure that sovereign AI is a reality for countries like India, India has been inviting investment, and we have seen hundreds of billions of dollars worth of investments from global tech companies to Indian conglomerates pledging that they want to build in India and they want to build for the world.
Now, ahead of this summit, Ishan, and also speaking of sovereign AI, an international AI safety report was released earlier this month, and it calls for urgent action on specifically responsible AI. So what key risks and opportunities does it highlight, and is it addressed at the summit?
Well, the report highlights several key risks which are ingrained in usage of AI. So, for example, it talks about the fact that AI can sometimes hallucinate and provide wrong information, and to do away with such biases and such issues with AI, they need to be trained on better data sets. It also talks about how artificial intelligence can supercharge creation of fake news and also dissemination of fake news. It also says artificial intelligence, by its very nature, can read codes very well and therefore presents a cybersecurity risk that has not been seen before. And as a solution, the report, as well as many experts that we have talked to, they say that what companies need to do is not move very quickly and ignore safety protocols. They say that they need to focus, of course, on building robust and diverse data sets on which AI models are tested, and that testing needs to be more robust and it needs to be stress tested to the limits to understand how well is an AI model functioning, and only then can we get to a place where AI models can be considered safe, especially for minors and children as well.
Ishan, thank you so much for that update. That was Ishan Garg for CNA Live from New Delhi.